Test, test. I needed to adjust the mic. I don't know who had the mic attached to it, but just want to make sure that's okay. So we have the mic up where people are actually speaking. And I'm on the shorter side. What do you think? Is that going to work? Yeah. Okay. You want me to twist it? I think it's going to hold. I think it's all right.
You want to move it?
No. There, it's fine. It was down here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I just brought it up to
Excellent.
most people's
Yeah,
space.
that one mic is one and the other one's his. We just want to make sure.
Yeah. Oh, I think we're fine.
Thank you.
We'll get started momentarily. Just want to let people know restrooms are behind you if anyone needs that. We've got chairs in the back as well. We can pull out more chairs when we need. Jackie Anderson should be leading us off momentarily. We're waiting on 2 people. They are on the way. They should be here shortly. We'll start soon. Bishop Dixon's here.
Well, is this on, Hannah? Is this on, Hannah? Is it on?
It's on. It's right here. Here's where you're
Okay,
speaking
well,
into.
all speakers, please come to the stage. You need to move that ball, please, because they're trying to get over there. We're going to go ahead and start, even though the Congresswoman plane probably just landed and she is en route. The mayor had to make some schedule changes, and he said he would be here as quickly as possible, as close to 3.
Man, pull that mic down, please.
Is that better?
I'm not gonna block you.
Thank you for being with us today. I wish we wouldn't have to talk about a state takeover, because it's the worst news we can imagine for our students and families. but it gives us an opportunity to spell out in a specific multi-point plan what every Houston student needs to succeed, whether there is a takeover or not. Let me be clear. Educators, parents, and the community remain resolutely opposed to today's announcement by the TEA to take over Houston public schools. Our schools should be run by our locally elected school board. As far as I'm concerned, this is a hostile takeover. It was done to Houston families, not with them. There was no transparency, no attempt to hear from the Houston community, and this is outrageous. We may have lost the battle over the takeover, but we will work night and day not to lose the war for the best education possible for our children. They have been making real academic progress, though Governor Abbott and Education Commissioner Mike Rath won't admit it. Houston Independent School District has a B+ rating, and that's a fact, and we will not allow progress to slide. We have tried in every book to prevent this decision. 30 years of research about takeovers in other districts has demonstrated they do not improve student outcomes. In fact, they disrupt kids' educations. Is that what Austin politicians want for Houston? Here's a list of our must-haves for students to continue on the path of progress, with or without a takeover. There are more, but these are our top priorities. Create community schools that provide academic, social, and emotional support for students. Provide wraparound services that meet the needs of entire families, such as health clinics, food pantries, extra tutoring, and enrichment programs. Reduce class sizes. Make sure every school has books that are actually published in this century. Hire an appropriate number of teachers and staff for every school, and that requires better pay and benefits to recruit and retain teachers. Provide funding equitably for all schools.
Right.
Open career and technology education programs. And we will make sure that the consultation rights and employee rights are maintained and will expose any effort to privatize HISD jobs. And now I will introduce to you Retha Thomas, the president of the HESP union.
All right, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I had wrote this speech earlier, but now that the state have announced they're going to be taking over HISD, and here's some things the HESP is going to be asking for. Better pay for our frontline workers so they are paid for what they are worth. Improving the pay and working conditions will bring in more bus drivers, food service employees, because it's a package to attract and retain. The support personnel does it every day. They get the kids to school on time, they feed them a nutritious meal, they have a school clean, the kids have been taken care of by our teachers. We want to make everything, we the support staff, we get the kids prepared to go into the classroom and be taught. And we get it done. No matter what side that we are on or who's running HISD, our main thing is we need to make sure that the state do the right thing for our students by providing provide them with a balanced education. No more 30% education on this side and 40 on this side. All kids need to be educated so they are future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Retha. The Texas AFT President, Zeph Capo, should be able to be zoomed in at this time. Is it ready? We can't hear you, Zeph. Hold on a minute, Zeph.
Tell him to try again. Put it up to the mic.
Janet shaking her head, so it's speakers in the hall that are not able to hear.
Go ahead, Zeph.
Okay, great.
Can you spin it around this way so we can see it? Yeah.
We can't hear or see you.
Let's see here.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Retha. Thank you, everybody who's there to stand up for our kids in our community. I would love to be with you today, but as you know, the legislature is in session, and we literally have to watch them every single minute that they're here. I appreciate Jackie and Retha talking about what's important for our kids, and many of our other speakers may point out what they believe to be the political leanings behind this decision. But today I want to talk about hypocrisy, because this decision smells of it. It is deep and it is rank. You in the media should know better than anyone else why we would not trust TEA to run our district. In teaching, we depend on modeling lessons for students, master teachers modeling for novice teachers, and TEA has lost at this point all space to judge or to be a model that any of the rest of us should follow. TEA has been and may currently still be under investigation by the federal government for mistreatment of special education students across the state. You in the media have published the headlines on phony contracts and the waste of our tax dollars. Your headlines have written about felons who have defrauded the government and been placed on boards of managers by the agency because they didn't do their homework when charged with the responsibility of overseeing other communities' kids. The state of Texas has engaged in 15 or more state takeovers to date. If we apply the one school criteria to the state agency, then shouldn't they already be taken over by the federal government for school district failures? All from an agency staffed with bureaucrats apparently ready to stick it to school districts and sacrifice our fourth grade teachers to pass a tax break for the wealthy. This lack of transparency is appalling. Basing this decision in part on an investigation we refuse to share with the public, they passed laws at the state legislature to keep that report hidden under the guise of witness protection. But I know damn well the main witness that they depended on to prop up their report was a high-level staffer who was arrested by the FBI for bribery and theft, and likely supported by a board member no longer on the board, by the way, because she was taking cash under the table. Release the report, TEA, and prove me wrong. Despite all of this, the state and its officials will now be responsible for more than 180,000 students and 25,000 school employees. For their sake, I have no choice at this point but to wish them well and hope that they succeed. But make no mistake, we will watch every move, and as long as you are treating our kids and our employees with dignity and respect, we will work with you. But the moment you cross that line, we will be there to hold you accountable. Thank you.
Thank you, and now we will hear from Congressman Al Green.
Thank you very much, Jackie. Thank you, Retha. Thank you, Bishop. Thank you, all assembled here today. I have not conceded.
Right.
That's right.
Thank you.
I do not believe that this is the end.
Thank you.
I think it is the beginning of a challenge that we have to take on. And I still believe that the people in Houston, Texas, with their children, can prevail and maintain control of their schools. I still believe it.
Yes.
I know that the school system has been underfunded. It has been underfunded for decades. It didn't just start.
That's right.
The federal government has had to fund. The Texas tax dollars that should go to schools are going into the pockets of people who do not see public schools as the means of educating their children.
Right.
This voucher program is all about draining public dollars from public schools and putting them in the pockets of private individuals who already have their children in private schools and don't need the public dollars. I'm upset and I'm angry, but I'm going to positively channel my anger.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do something that will cause some harm to come to this cause. And I ask that others, let's be positive in this sense. We can protest, but we have to do it peacefully.
Right.
We want to do it peacefully. We want to make sure that our message gets to the governor. We want to make sure that people understand that the teachers care about the students, the parents care about the teachers, that we together will stand against the governor, and the governor can't take over just because he wants to. He has to have our cooperation.
Right.
We don't have to cooperate with the governor.
Right.
He has to have our cooperation.
Right.
We don't have to cooperate. He didn't cooperate with us.
Right.
Where was he when we were begging for more funds for teachers? Where was he when we were asking for better books? Where was he? He hasn't been involved in public schools. He has seen 19 babies murdered in a public school. He did nothing about that. He is only now trying to take over public schools so that they can eventually be voucherized and others can take over the public dollars and put them in private pockets.
Right.
So I'm angry, but I'm not so angry that I will do something irrational. We have a duty now to continue this fight because, Bishop, this isn't over. We still have the rest of this school year.
That's right.
The school year is ending in June.
Yes.
We have until June to get the governor to understand that what he's doing now in the month of March is unacceptable, and we may have to march on the governor.
That's right.
We may have to go to Austin.
That's right.
We may have to stand in front of the mansion. We may have to let the governor know that we are not happy.
Right.
That doesn't mean we'll do anything violent. I have to say this continuously because there are people who always want to say that we want to do something violent. No violence. We can peacefully protest and make it clear to others that we are upset. Finally, this. The genesis of this movement to voucherize did not start with HISD.
That's right.
This started in 1955 after Brown versus the Board of Education. When people in this South did not want to have their children go to integrated schools. We have come too far now to allow what started in 1955 to take us back to a time when black children were in one school, white children were in another school, and other children were disseminated throughout school system. We have got to maintain an integrated school system. That's what this is all about. Let's maintain an integrated school system. Now, here's what the governor's really doing, Retha. The governor is rewarding white flight. That's what he's doing. Most of the children in HISD are persons of color.
That's right.
The people who are attending these private schools, for the most part, are not children of color.
Right.
The governor is rewarding the people who have chosen to take their children out of HISD, put them in private schools. He now wants to give them a bonus for taking their children out of these public schools. We will not allow the bonus to go to private schools.
Talk on it.
This is the beginning This is the Genesis, Bishop. You know a
Yes,
lot
it
about
is.
Genesis.
I know, yes, sir.
And I will tell you, Bishop, that the revelations are yet to come. Yet to come. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman.
Take him to church, dear.
Bishop Dixon.
All right there.
To all of those responsible for us being here, thank you so much, President Anderson, and to all of you, the labor union leaders. Thank you so very much, Ms. Retha, and to Hanny, all of you, our colleagues, and to our congressman who just articulated very well exactly my sentiments. This is absolutely Genesis.
Yes.
I want to say, I'm speaking, of course, on behalf of the NAACP, along with the Houston Metropolitan Baptist Ministers Conferences, as well as other pastors across this city. This is a hostile and unjust takeover of HISD by the TEA and by the governor of our state, and it is a crime against almost 200,000 children.
Yes, yes.
This is a crime. I want to go on record to say this is a crime.
Yes, it is.
It's a crime against public education, and it's a crime against the Houston community. Today, Commissioner Mike Morath announced definite plans for TEA to take over HISD. But we want to declare today that those plans are not so definite.
Yes.
A school district that has been given a rating of B plus by his own agency.
That's right.
Is what he declares is worthy of being taken over.
That's right.
A school that has earned the grade of C by his agency is the litmus test for this action.
That's right. That's right.
It is absolutely irrational and ludicrous to use a grade from the past
That's right.
to make a present decision in 2023.
That's right.
I want to go on record today as well as saying that we're calling for the Federal Department of Education, the Secretary of Education, and all other federal levels to investigate the constitutionality of this action. We're declaring, according to Title VI,
That's right.
this is discriminatory practice and public policy. We're also saying today that we're going to take every legal angle to block and to stop this action.
That's right.
And we will take peaceful, disruptive action to block and stop this action.
Good trouble. Good trouble.
There comes a time that we have to be committed to being in good trouble.
That's right. That's right.
There comes a time that we have to stand, even when we have to stand in the way of people who would dare utilize our children for the economic advantage of people who don't live with us, don't invest with us, don't support our community. We will not stand by, and we will not go away without a fight.
That's right.
Today, we're here to say that we are really, really, really amazed at the level of arrogance to understand that the Commissioner Morath had never accepted an invitation to meet with our legislators until today. All of the invites to have a meeting to discuss this situation, he never said yes to a conversation. The governor has never met with our legislators nor stakeholders to discuss what is the reason behind the hostile and unjust takeover. When you look at HISD, a B+, Klein at ISD has a B.
Talk now. Talk.
Fort Bend has a B.
Break it down. Break it down.
Conroe ISD has a B.
Break it down.
Dallas has a B. Austin ISD has a B.
Break it down.
How is it that HISD with a B+ is chosen to be taken over? Is Conroe ISD on the list? Is Klein on the list?
All right.
Why are these districts not on the list, Governor Morath, to be taken over.
That's right, that's right.
What does it have to do with really? If academic achievement and financial management are the measurements by which you determine whether a school district is viable,
That's right.
tell us.
That's right, that's right.
What's the reasoning that you haven't written about?
That's right. Yes.
What is it that you haven't told the public that really drives this action? We decree and declare that this is unscrupulous,
Yeah. Yes.
it's animus, it's
Yeah.
anger, and it's about an agenda that you cannot go public with.
No way.
Because it is to voucherize. It is to privatize. But we're not going to stand by and watch it. We're going to make you answer the question. We're going to knock on your door. We will be at your doorstep. We will be at your meeting. We will be at your events asking you over and over, tell us why HISD? Does it have to do with the fact that we're majority brown and black? Does it have to do with an economic agenda that's designed to close our schools and privatize schools and sell the land to developers? HISD is the largest landowner in Houston. Let's not forget about that. I come to a close on this note, and yes, I'm angry. I've gotten filled with righteous indignation. I'm angry enough,
Come on now.
Congressman,
Come on now.
to move buses to Dallas, Texas, to stand in front of Morath's home. I'm angry enough. I'm angry enough to stand in the way. I'm angry enough to lead a protest. I'm angry enough to lead a strike. I'm angry enough to lead a walkout. Whatever it takes, we are going to be heard. And the nation will know that the state of Texas is punishing children for a partisan political agenda that disempowers people who have lifted themselves to a level of excellence and a standard of acceptance, and you rewarded us with a grade, but you're punishing us with this grievance.
Come on now.
So today,
Come on now.
I close with these words for the last time. Mr. Morath, what is it about HISD that you feel the liberty to punish a B+ earned district with a AAA bond rating?
Come on.
What is it about this district that says it's worthy to be taken over? And we doubt seriously if you can do it better. Because every district that you've taken over have gone down, not up. Not so for HISD. Stand with us. The fight is not over. The battle is not won. We are still on God's side, and God is on our side. We fight to the finish.
Thank you, Bishop Dixon. Now I will bring up Dr. Sergio Lira, President of LULAC 4967.
Thank you, thank you. Yes, a couple of things. First of all, I used to be a member of this great organization, HFT, for many, many years, and I've been in the trenches with our school teachers, our families, our students, our support workers, Ms. Cormier, the bus drivers, the essential workers, the cafeteria workers, and I fought like hell to make sure they get the highest pay raise in 25 years.
You did that. You did that.
Now, let me tell you a couple of things. You know, right now, it's clear as day, and I'm asking all of you folks in the media, do your research. Do your homework. This did not happen in 2019. It started in 2015 when the law was passed, House Bill 1885, that opened the door for a state takeover. And as an educator, let me say a couple of things. Research has shown over and over and over that a state takeover does not improve student outcome.
Right.
TA, Mr. Morath, Governor, if you're concerned, your priority is improving student outcome, then why is it that the 11 school districts that were taken over did not improve student outcome? Beaumont ISD was the last one they took over, the largest school district, and it's not even rated.
Right.
You know what it means? That it may be below a C. It's either a D or an F. Demonstrate that you really care about student outcome. You preach about student outcome, and improving academic performance, but there's not a single state takeover that has improved student outcome. Next to student safety, that's what we should focus on. Mental health issues, that's what we need to focus on, instead of taking over a school district that's mostly minority students. And let me tell you, my phone blew up today, all morning long, and this is another voice that I want to add to you. The Latino community is calling me and saying, what are we doing? What's going on? ¿Qué pasa? 62% of the students in HISD are Latinos. Half of the students at Whitney High School are Latinos.
Yes.
¿Dónde está la voz? Because it's not about one school. 273 schools. That's what it's about. Research has also shown that if you invest in education and public school, student outcomes go up, not down. We don't need a state takeover. We need a state financial do-over. And let me just say a few words para en español, que son la mayoría. ¿Dónde están nuestros líderes? ¿Dónde está nuestra comunidad? Necesitamos que tener la voz para nuestros hijos, estudiantes y padres y los trabajadores esenciales que trabajan en la escuela y sus hijos atienden y asisten a las escuelas públicas de Houston. Quiero que sepan que esto es un ataque en la educación pública para privatizar la educación. El gobernador comenzó con los vouchers, school choice, eliminar programas de diversidad y ahora tomar control del distrito más grande. El mensaje es claro, no es el estudiante, son los intereses de los millonarios que viven afuera del estado y que están apoyando a las personas que apoyan esta ley. Les quiero decir a todos que sí se puede y aquí estamos unidos. Gracias.
Thank you, Dr. Lear. We can talk all we want, but at the bottom of this are parents and students.
That's right, that's
And
right.
so we have a parent here, and we have some students that want to speak today.
Yes.
Hello. My name is Audrey Nath, and I am a proud HISD parent,
All right.
as well as a pediatric neurologist.
All right
As a parent, I was appalled to hear about the state takeover. We love our school.
That's right.
My son is a kindergartner at Wharton Dual Language Academy.
All right.
It is our neighborhood school. We walk there. It is beautiful. There is tons of parental involvement. So I felt like we must be talking about a different district because this doesn't sound
It's a nightmare,
right.
huh?
Exactly.
a nightmare.
There's not a single parent that I've spoken to who wants this. None of the parents or teachers that I've spoken with at school or on the playgrounds or at play dates are saying, oh, we need to have some non-elected managers taking over our school.
Talk down.
Nobody is saying that. And as a neurologist, I'm very concerned that there is no plan in place for our students with neurodevelopmental disabilities. No plan whatsoever. And our students with disabilities, they have very intricate accommodations and plans, and they deserve better than to be an afterthought to the managers.
That's right.
As a scientist, I know that the data shows that takeovers don't work.
Talk now, talk. Tell it. Make it simple.
In the literature, Schuler and Bleiberg, 2021, that paper reviewed state takeovers all over the country and found no improvement in academic performance from the state takeovers in any of these districts. So, in conclusion, as a proud HISD parent and a physician, our fight has only begun.
That's right, that's right. That's right. Talk down. That's right.
Help us.
That's right.
By signing the petition at HoustonCVPE.org. Let's demand
That's right.
a democratically elected board
That's
that
right.
answers to us.
That's right, that's right, that's right, that's right.
And please talk with other parents and students and teachers and fight this hostile takeover with all of your might.
That's right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. That's so good.
Hello. Oh, in this one? Okay. Hi. My name is Eileen Reyes.
Speak louder.
Okay,
Use your
sorry.
outside voice.
Hello. My name is Eileen Reyes. I am a freshman at Westbury High School. I'm 14 years old. I believe this takeover will not work out at all. Takeovers rarely even work. It is very unfair to parents, teachers, students, and people who run HISD. It's a slap in the face telling them that they're not working hard enough.
That's right.
That they're not doing anything to help us.
That's right.
It is the largest district.
That's
so
right.
I expect there not to be perfect, for there to be some mistakes. But this takeover could be the worst thing that could happen.
That's right.
There's hundreds, maybe even thousands of students who are at risk of their schools being shut down because
That's
of
right.
their low scores. I am a human. I'm a student. I'm not a test score.
Talk now. Make it plain. Make it plain. All right.
I work hard. I go to school 5 days a week and only get 2 days off. It's like a full-time job that I don't get paid for. And I have 8 classes, including an advocacy class where they still make us do
All
other
right
work.
now.
I take STAR tests, PSATs, TELPAS tests every single year, and they take at least 4 to 5 hours. And there's plenty of other students who also have to take them.
You have to put that B plus. That's why we got that B plus.
I also participate in sports, which is a lot more harder for me to be focusing on schoolwork. With all these teachers giving me work, it's very stressful, but we learn how to handle it. Most of us here probably have kids. Imagine having to drive your kid 40 minutes to an hour because their school got shut down because of their
That's
poor
right.
scores.
That's right.
It is definitely not fair
That's right.
that some students have to drive very far from their homes just to get to school every day, and their parents who probably work jobs and take care of other siblings. It is not fair that students are told your scores are bad. When is it really our fault? Is it really us who reflect on our scores? Some students suffer with anxiety, depression, and OCD,
That's right.
and other things, test anxiety. I suffer with some test anxiety. I get really scared to take a test. It's very stressful. Students, it's very hard to go to school every day. I thought that with this takeover, we would have someone with a big, big voice to stand behind us, such as our governor, Greg Abbott, which he did not. This is not the person who I want representing my state.
All right.
I want someone who is going to be there, who's going to listen to news, take care of all the people of Texas. This governor, which I don't even want to call my governor, because he made a mockery of HISD.
Out of the mouth of babes.
He called us unprofessional and a joke, which I do not find appreciative. Another thing that I do not like about this guy is that he pretty much make a mockery about the Uvalde shooting that happened in March.
That's
March
right.
24,
That's right.
2022.
That's right.
At least 23 people lost their life that day. It is very tragic that parents, students, teachers, everyone is scared to go to school now. I shouldn't be scared to walk into my campus thinking that will be the last day.
That's right.
I should walk into school being proud that I get an education. Students are the future.
That's
They're
right.
the next generation.
That's right.
We're the next lawyers, doctors,
That's right.
therapists, counselors, maybe even teachers, maybe
right.
even the next president.
That's right. Talk, babe.
And now they're just giving up on us, saying that we need someone else to take care of us. We can do this ourselves. We can handle it ourselves. There's protests out there. There's a lot of things that can be signed, like a petition. I encouraged my family and I signed it myself. This takeover cannot happen.
That's right. That's right.
At all. Thank you for your time.
Great job.
Very good.
Hi, my name is Kaylin Krathouse, and I'm a junior attending Carnegie Vanguard High School in Midtown. Yeah. I think this is another instance of a power grab of the Texas government over local control. This is not improving our education. It's about taking over taking power out of the hands of minorities that have fought relentlessly for their voice in public education, for better opportunities and resources.
Right.
We should be focusing on the teachers, the students, and support of the students. We see a lack, students like me see a lack of funding every single day when we go to school. My classmates and I, and all of HISD students, need adults that represent us and care deeply about our education,
That's
our
right.
concerns,
That's right.
and not our financial value.
That's right. That's
Thank
right.
you.
Very well said. Very well said.
Thank you.
Let the students speak.
Okay, hi, my name is Ivana Washington, and I'm a senior at Lamar High School. I was in 9th grade when COVID hit, and I had to spend almost half of my high school experience online.
Take your time, baby. Just take a deep breath.
There are many students like me that COVID has affected that the governor doesn't even care to understand. It feels like all he cares about are test scores and not us as students who are working for our futures. We are more than just a test score. We are human beings.
Talk, baby. Talk. It's all right. Talk.
I don't agree with this at all. I know it's not going to work, and I feel like that he's only doing this to affect people like me. This won't affect any of the private school kids. It will just affect people in public schools,
That's
and
right.
it's not right.
That's right.
We have other things we need to learn other than like testing. Like if we have like testing-based classes, we won't learn the things we need to know.
That's right.
I had 3 friends last year. One of them had a pregnancy scare, and 2 of them had sexually transmitted diseases. We never got a health class or anything like that. I feel like that's what we need to focus on and not our test scores. They need to teach us things for our future. I've always really enjoyed learning. And this year I've really enjoyed my hands-on classes I have, like my English class. I have a really amazing teacher. She motivates us and comes up with creative lessons that she knows we will enjoy. I can tell that when I'm in class, she really wants us to learn what she's telling us and not just trying to get our test scores, you know? Like, she really wants us to learn. And I'm concerned that if the state takes over, students won't get the support they need, and students will start being taught things just because of testing, and we will lose what makes students actually enjoy to go to school. It will just make us want to drop out if you feel like we're not listening to us. So if you care about HISD students like me, please sign the petition on our website at HoustonCVPE.org. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good.
We will now hear from Hanny Khalil, the Executive Director of the Gulf Coast AFL-CIO.
Good afternoon. It's Hanny Khalil. I'll spell it because it's probably the hardest name of all those that have spoken today. It's Hanykhalil. In addition to being the Executive Director here at the Texas Gulf Coast Area Labor Federation, I'm a former HISD social studies teacher and a proud board member of the Houston Federation of Teachers. So our 95 affiliated unions and 60,000 union members are proud to stand today alongside teachers and support personnel and parents and students and faith leaders and former trustees and elected officials here in Houston to call out the hostile takeover of HISD for what it is. It is a coup. Sometimes coup plotters carry Confederate flags. Sometimes they wear fur and horns. And sometimes they wear jackets and ties, smiling while they take a hacksaw to your rights, telling you what they're doing is servant leadership. And that is what is happening today. This is a coup, plain and simple. Mike Morath. Morath. So experience has proven over and over again that school district takeovers fail. They lead to skyrocketing teacher turnover, more school closures in black and brown communities, and profit-seeking charter expansion that purposefully under-enroll students with disabilities to inflate their accountability ratings.
That's right, that's right.
This is just the latest in a long campaign by state officials to roll back successful and popular programs right here in Harris County. In addition to today's takeover, let's keep it real. State officials have obstructed Harris County's ability to implement a responsible budget with increases for public safety. They've implemented legislation blocking efforts to make voting easier and secure. They've limited the ability of cities and counties to raise revenue. And they've obstructed local health officials' work to prevent the spread of COVID-19 and keep our families healthy and safe. That is what state interference in local government looks like. And now, new legislation introduced just this legislative session threatens to further erode Houstonians' ability to govern ourselves. House Bill 2127, Senate Bill 814 would prevent cities and counties from adopting or enforcing local ordinances related to labor and the environment and workplace safety, finance, insurance. The list goes on. By giving exclusive authority to the state over these codes, this Death Star law would make any local law within those areas unenforceable. That means an end to water breaks for construction workers working in the hot Texas sun in the summer. It means an end to prohibitions on predatory lending that takes advantage of vulnerable residents. It means an end to our very ability to govern ourselves locally. So Governor Abbott's takeover of the largest school district in Texas, the fourth largest city in the United States, has been predicated upon demonizing and delegitimizing and now disenfranchising Houston voters. Demonizing, delegitimizing, and disenfranchising. That is what this TA takeover is. The fact is they want to take away the ability of our elected leaders from the state's most populous and diverse county to represent and lead our own communities. This isn't about helping students. Let's not kid ourselves. It's about taking power from voters in the largest and most diverse municipality in Texas.
That's right.
It's about blocking our progress at the local level, the progress that makes the lives of working families better that we have been doing here in HISD and in the city of Houston and Harris County for years.
That's right, that's right.
So the AFL today calls upon Governor Abbott and elected officials from both parties to reject these attacks on our schools and our communities and our democracy. We call upon them to reverse this takeover, reverse course. And we call upon them to reject House Bill 2127 and Senate Bill 814, the Death Star bill currently making its way through the state legislature. We need to defend our local power. We need to defend democracy here in the city of Houston and Harris County. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hanny. On stage also, but not speaking, I want to recognize Ms. Carmela Walker, who is the program coordinator and advocacy specialist with the Houston Area Urban League. Bishop Dixon, you want to come and bring greetings from?
Yes, I do want to mention. Yes, I do want to mention that Congresswoman Lizzie Fletcher sent her regards and full support. Commissioner Rodney Ellis sends his full support, could not be present, along with several council members as well. I want to say this, and I think this really needs to be said. When you listen to what Hanny just articulated, the reality is when you take democracy out of an institution like Houston ISD and place this institution under the board of managers appointed by a singular individual, we are going back to a time before the 50s. I don't want this to go unspoken. We are not asleep at the wheel.
That's right.
We understand what plantations smell like. We understand what oppressive politics looks like.
That's right.
This is really about taking authority over a district like HISD. It's apartheid. This is not modest. This is not congenial. It may look smooth on the surface. It may look smooth on the document, but any way you slice this, when you shuck the corn right down to the cob,
All right now.
this is oppressive
partisan politics, and this is about suppressing people's rights to rule themselves, and that's what democracy promises. A B plus shouldn't, how do you not pass with a B plus? I mean, I think, honestly, they were surprised that the district met the grade.
That's right, that's right.
I think they were surprised that Wheatley rose to a C.
That's right, that's right.
Because before then, the argument was a lack of ability.
That's right.
Incapable. The professionals were incapable. The teachers were incapable. The students were incapable. The parents were incapable. But they made the grade.
That's right.
So now that they made the grade, you have to change the rules.
That's right. That's
so
right.
now you say it doesn't matter if you made the grade. We're going to take over. If we had made an A,
they still were coming.
We will still be dealing with the hostile, unjust takeover because the decision was not based on merit. The decision was based on motive. And that's what we've got to communicate. This is not about merit. This is about motive. And we want to make that clear. Media, we're asking you to ask the question to Commissioner Morath. If they merited a B, what's your motive for the takeover?
Right, exactly.
Explain your motive for the takeover. And why can't you, if it's honest, have a town hall meeting in Houston with parents, with these students who are on this stage? They earned the B.
That's right, that's right.
Come explain to these students. Let me see the students. Come and explain to these students who earned the B plus why a B plus was not good enough. Come and explain to these teachers why a B plus is not good enough. If it's good enough in Conroe ISD, if it's good enough in Klein, if it's good enough in suburban districts, why isn't it good enough in an urban district like the Houston Independent School District? That's the question that we want the media to ask of the commissioner and of the governor so that we can get to the bottom of it. Just tell us. Just tell us we want to rule you. Just tell us we want to profit on you. Just tell us the truth. Don't lie about it, because it cannot be about the grade. You set the standard, and they rose to meet it, and you're still punishing.
Right.
That is a moral question. It's a justice question, and you need to answer it for the public, because, Governor, you are our governor.
That's right.
Of our state.
That's right.
Mike Morath, TEA is not owned by you.
That's right.
This is a state agency.
That's right.
We need you to be held accountable. It's not based on their merit. Tell us what is your motive.
That's right. That's right.
Are there questions from the media at this time?
I have a question, real quick. My question is, as the Latinos are the largest minority, 62%, where does this leave the bilingual program, and where does it leave the special ed program? Because I've spoken to, as a retired teacher of December.
It leaves it in the hands of a management, a board of managers, unelected, that the parents of the 62%, those children, will have no influence to determine curriculum, programs, health and safety and wellness of those children or of the other.
What about the board of managers? Will they reflect the looks of the community?
That is appointed, and it's not up to the community. The board of managers will be selected by the commissioner, Morath. That is not a public decision. All of this is about putting the hands of all this power into the hands of people who want to control our outcomes, control the minds of our children at the expense of democracy. It puts parents out of the conversation, and it locks the management board in without accountability.
Will teachers be able to resign if they want to without good cause, maybe family leave or something, and will they be sanctioned if they?
We have no idea what the standard.
Up on the board meeting, that's why.
Yes.
And that was my question.
Well, I'll say this. I want to reiterate, and I think somebody's going to chime in. Understand that all of the policies would be determined by TEA. the public will have no input and no jurisdiction as to enforcing policies that the public desires for our own children.
They can change them.
And that board of management can change anything that exists right now. Nothing is sacred, nothing is protected. The board of managers becomes the master, and our children become members of the plantation.
Let me add a word to that. Excuse me, just a moment.
Congressman, go ahead, please.
The Board of Managers will report to an agent of the state. There really is one person that's going to be in charge of this, because the managers are being appointed based upon their willingness to cooperate with the agent of the state. This is not the way our public school system was designed to function. We don't want to see a board of managers really with no authority other than to say yes
to whom?
To the agent of the state, which ultimately gets back to the governor. The governor of this state does not want federal interference. He talks about how you have to have home rule. He talks about how important it is for local people to make decisions, except when it comes to HISD. And then he makes an exception such that he can control HISD. We are going to fight to return HISD to the hands of the people and the children that attend the school and the teachers that teach there. That's our mission.
As Sergio said, let me say this. This ceases to be a public school system. A public school system is a school system that is governed democratically by individuals who are elected by the public. That's the definition of a public school system. If the public does not govern the system, Congressman, by definition, does that not cease to be a public school system? Yeah. We need to understand that what's really happening is HISD will not operate and function legitimately as a public school district when it's under the auspices of a board of managers appointed by one man who reports to one man who reports only to the governor. That's what we're dealing with. We're losing a public school system to personal and private interest.
That's right. I just want to add that this is the beginning of the erosion of democracy. In our city, the nation is watching other surrounding school districts that have similar issues, similar demographics, some struggling schools. Ask yourself, who's next? Who's next? If you take over the largest school district, you're able to take over you can take over any school district. There's a saying, those in power make the rules, but it's up to us, the community, to fight back. And let me just revert back to your question, Mrs. Moreno. In terms of what's going to happen to the bilingual program, ESL program, bilingual teachers are 33% of the teacher workforce in HISD. Someone mentioned that teachers are going to flee the district because of the uncertainty. Well, our students are going to suffer even more. But not only that, with the explosion of recent immigrants into our beautiful, diverse city, ESL stipends are threatened. Bilingual ed is threatened. And with the movement, listen closely, pay attention to what the governor is doing by eliminating diversity, equity, and inclusion policies and programs. What is to say that these board managers are not going to align the same decisions of the program? They have to listen to the governor. And they want to stay there because they're not elected. They're going to be appointed by TA, by Mike Morath. They have no accountability of which programs they eliminate and what they cut. So this is a big threat to the bilingual program, ESL program, special ed program, any program that helps minority students, because the wave is coming from Austin down. Follow the pattern. It's the same policy alignment. That's what's going to happen. Lo más quería de contestarle de qué efecto va a tener en el programa bilingüe. y le estoy contestando a la maestra Moreno, que si seguimos la retórica del gobernador de eliminar programas de diversidad, igualdad, inclusión, las personas que van a estar, los van a escoger sin una elección, vamos a perder la democracia de tener un representante para abogar y luchar por sus estudiantes y sus padres. Lo que va a suceder, existe una amenaza muy grande de eliminar los programas bilingües, de eliminar los programas de ESL, de eliminar y cortar fondos de los programas de educación especial, porque esta es la filosofía que tiene el gobernador y los republicanos que están en control de Austin, del gobierno estatal que toma estas decisiones. Es una amenaza muy grande. Y también, si pueden tomar a ventaja del distrito más grande, pueden tomar a ventaja también de los distritos que siguen alrededor y tienen los mismos problemas con la minoría de estudiantes. Ya llegó una persona muy querida.
Thank you. Trustee Bluford Daniels, and then we'll hear from Congresswoman Jackson Lee.
Yes.
See, I was wise enough not to follow the Congresswoman. But let me just say that I am Kathy Bluford Daniels, and I am a current sitting board member for HISD District 2. And I wasn't going to say anything, but I was compelled to do so because let me just explain something to you. I am a proud 1975 graduate of Phyllis Wheatley High School. Let's be clear, Wheatley produces productive people, and I am not going to continue to hear and let our students at Wheatley, Cashmere, and any other schools, but especially Wheatley, continue to hear that handle that they are not successful, that they are failing students. We did all right. Everybody knows Barbara Jordan and Mickey Leland and George Foreman, but now you know Kathy Bluford Daniels. Bishop Dixon's mom. We have so many people that have come through those hallways, and to continuously say that our children are failure, they don't deserve this. Keep in mind, this is what people fail to realize. When we came, we got a new board primarily in 2020, January of 2020. March of 2020, we were out with COVID. That's 1 year. March of 2021, we were primarily out with COVID. Half the kids came back. That's 2 years, guys. The only opportunity that we had to work collectively as a board for improvement was 1 year, 2022. And in that 1 year, our students rose to the occasions. These students that are right here rose to the occasion. Wheatley students rose to the occasion, and they, of course, got that seat. They earned that seat. Right. And so now, 3 years later, 2019 is what we're hearing continuously. But we in 2023, the kids achieved that score in 2022. So please make reference to the fact that those kids, we are proud of them for everything that they did. These kids, we're proud of them. You know, we're there fighting for our kids. Right. Most of us are retirees. We're not there for as an exercise. It's legitimate for us because I'm that kid at Wheatley, I'm that kid at Cashmere, as was mentioned. I'm that kid from the neighborhood because guess what? I live in the neighborhood. Yeah. Thank you.
Board Member Guidry.
Good afternoon. I am Myrna Guidry. I am the proud trustee of District 9 where excellence resides. Yeah. And the reason excellence is one of these children who went to Westbury. Westbury is in District 9. Yeah. I was appointed to this board in December of 2020. From December of 2020, we have worked our butts off
We have been consistent. We have been dogmatic. We have been working day in and day out to bring this district to a B+ district.
Yes.
And at this point in time, it's appearing as if our efforts are being thwarted on. It's appearing as if they're not considering the fact that this is a brand new board. This is a board that has put everything we had into this district and willing to continue to do so.
Yeah.
But we are not being allowed the ability to continue the work we have been doing and will continue to do. When we began, there were 50 failing schools.
Yeah.
We're down to 10, and we were on our way to 0.
Yes, yes.
We were on our way to 0, just given the opportunity to do so. So on behalf of the current Board of Education, I have to say, I'm not just disappointed, I am mad.
Yeah, yeah.
I am mad that we cannot finish
Yes.
the work that we began.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the lady that needs no introduction, my Congresswoman, Sheila Jackson.
I am humbled to be here, just landed from Austin, Texas. Left early this morning to join state legislators in a meeting with Commissioner Morath. I wanted to hear for myself. So I know there have been a series of press conferences. My colleagues in Austin had one at 1. I had to leave in order to get here. But spoke earlier this morning right after the meeting with Commissioner Morath. Let me say to all of you that are here, from Dr. Lira to Bishop Dixon to our president of the American Federation of Teachers and to our school board members, and of course to my strong fighting civil rights activist colleague, Congressman Al Green. I am so excited to be here with him. We are in tandem. To our teachers, to our students. I want the students to know that every time I spoke, I said the students, parents are number one. Not that we are in any way ignoring the vital necessity of teachers, but teachers believe students are number one. Retha Thomas and the bus drivers and support staff believe teachers are number one, and our president, Randy Weingarten, believes that teachers are number one, and she is going to show us that in a moment. But let me be very clear. In that meeting were your state representatives. I applaud them. I don't want to give the list of names. There were your senators who were there as well. Collectively, there wasn't a voice in the room that a collective body, let's say the majority in the room, opposed this process. And the reason of opposing this process was clearly because we have a question of whether or not there is authority to do what Commissioner Morath is saying that he can do. Let me be very clear. He has the discretion to hold up. And it is very clear that this school board is a school board on the move for positive reaction and action to our children. Our school board acted last Thursday, dropped the lawsuit that had come to a conclusion. And thank you to the AFL-CIO, and Hanny, thank you so very much, and to our leadership in the AFL-CIO. And of course, Communication Workers of America, I saw Claude Cummings. But they clearly dropped the lawsuit to engage. They are free now. There's no legal entity that stops them from engaging, to be very clear. The commissioner has not called them one time to sit down and see how we can resolve. That is suspicious.
No conversation.
That is no conversation, Bishop Dixon. And so I'm here to say that we must be the fighting team for our children.
Yes.
We must never give up and give in and give out. And I believe these remedies are imperative. President Biden is a public school president. It is imperative that the Department of Education, as we've written to them, as they're now reviewing right now, they are reviewing with the Office of Civil Rights to determine what their next steps will be. There is discrimination. There is lack of equal protection of the law. There's lack of due process. This bill fails on its face. Now, they added in 2021 the ability for an administrative appeal. The administrative appeal goes to TEA. It's not an outside body for them to appeal. So the folk that are voting against, or the folk that are saying it should be taken over, are the very ones that they have the only privilege to go and appeal. Let me also say the Board of Managers. The Board of Managers will have no boss other than the Commissioner of TEA and the Governor of the state of Texas. No parent can say anything. No student can come. These wonderful students, our students are brilliant. They made it through the pandemic and they're back in school. They are brilliant. If you go to these schools and see these programs, you will not have a dry eye. You will be crying because you'll be so emotional about how gigantic a genius these students are. I applaud them. But they will have no say. Their parents will have no say. Teachers will have no say. Bus drivers will have no say. Cafeteria workers will have no say. Maintenance workers will have no say. And those who are supportive by being advocates for public school education, they will have no say. The Board of Managers can close schools. The Board of Managers can sell the land. And we might be saying, no, that school is going to come up with its numbers. More people are moving into the neighborhood. Closed. That's right. With no option. That's right. And so in the very seemingly cavalier presentation that our commissioner was making, detached from the emotion that we are feeling here today, I have to say that they are not prepared to handle this school district.
No.
They are not prepared because the largest school district that they've ever managed is 60,000. That's right. And there are 4 to 5 of those takeovers were on financial and governance. That's not this school district. Right. They've got one school, Wheatley High School. That school now has broken the criteria. It's at a C. That's right. And so in speaking to State Representative Jolanda Jones, we discerned from the Texas Education Code that commissioner does have the authority because there are 2 prongs, 5 years plus and a C, below a C grade. He doesn't have that because Wheatley has a C grade. Right. You've got to understand this community. Right. He doesn't have the 2 pillars that would cause him to have a mandatory requirement of taking over this school district. We asked the TEA and the TEA board to look at the particular Texas Education Code and determine whether or not you have that authority or you don't have that authority now. In the alternative, I'll be seeking a federal lawsuit. Now, some people are saying, give the Board of Managers a chance. No. Some people are saying that you're rushing to judgment. What I'm rushing to judgment on is a singular entity, that will give no credence to any voice in this community. I don't care if it's the Greater Houston Partnership, they will have no authority because the Board of Managers will listen to only the commissioner of the TEA and not even the board. I will tell you there were a board member in the room. I never heard the board member introduced. I never heard the board member introduced, and I'm saying the TEA board, not even introduced or acknowledged. I pleaded with that board member to take a look. And the governor, Governor Abbott, Commissioner Moratz, and the Board of Managers to be selected from an application process, not from the voters of this community. Right. So let me leave you simply with the idea. I learned a little bit about democracy, 28 years on the House Judiciary Committee, civil rights, your constitutional rights to due process and equal protection. All of that has been obliterated with this takeover. This bill is ill-prepared. It did not plan for due process. It has no deference to equal protection of the law. I think it fails in the federal court, and I think it fails by an investigation of the Department of Education. My last point, to reiterate, Texas is 40 on the list of funding for students. Right. They get an F grade based upon a national survey that they underfund per capita students. Yeah. Don't you think this is a two-way street? Yes. If it is on us, then it's on the state of Texas. Yes. I clearly believe there should be an Inspector General's assessment of the funding and where the dollars are that are supposed to go to our primary and secondary schools. All of that is a legitimate oversight of this state of education in our state and of Houston Independent School District. I'm not angry to the extent that I don't want to sit down and allow discussion, collaboration, and solution. I am angry because you have shut the door in our face. Yes. And you have not allowed a parent who is wanting to interact. You've given them no hope. You've given our students an assessment that they're not the best, and they are the best.
Yeah.
If you talk about my students, you've got me in the midst of it. I'm not going to allow that to happen. And so students, you might not be hearing this, you might be hearing this. You are the best of the best. Your future is before you. You can go anywhere and do anything, and we're not going to give up on you. By the way, those who are at Texas Southern University, Houston Baptist, University of Houston, St. Thomas, Houston Community College, San Jac, and all, they've come out of Houston Independent School District, and they are making their way. They're making their way. They can read, they can write, and they're on their way to leadership. I ask the state to take a look at themselves and stand away from the door, open the door of opportunity, and stop this takeover and let us live, learn, and get our children to survive and be successful. That's the fight that we're in right now. That is the fight that we're in right now.
Thank you, Congresswoman. We have one additional speaker, our national president of American Federation of Teachers, Randy Weingarten. She's also in this fight with us. She has been from the beginning, and she could not be here, but she is on Zoom.
Very important. Bring it over.
Bring it over here.
Bring it over to the mic.
Can you hear me or no?
Okay.
You can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yes, and see you.
I see all of you. I just got off a plane, and the first call I made was to Jackson Lee, because I wanted to see what was, how, what happened during the day and what the state actually did. And I just want to briefly say this. This fight over Houston schools, the schools our kids deserve, this fight has been generational, as the Congresswoman said, and I know so many of you have said. And when we got, according to the state accountability system, got a grade that no one wanted, people came together and fought to make Lee better. And when the state said, oh, the reason we were going to take over, just like in Michigan under the former mayor, under the former governor, that the same governor who poisoned or who changed the pipes in Flint that created that kind of water, used these kind of emergency managers in Flint, in Detroit, and they all kept we're not going to give you money. We're not going to give you support. We're not going to listen to parents or to students or to civil rights leaders or to teachers. Oh, no, trust us. We're going to do it better. And what happened in Detroit? It got worse. And what happened in Detroit? Even that former governor had to give the schools back because it got worse. And what has happened in every other place where there's been this state takeover? It's gotten worse. Even places where there were decent relationships, it got worse. So here you have a situation where on the ground, in an underfunded district, without the support from the state, as every one of these folks have said so passionately, this school board, these community leaders, and these congressmen, and these teachers, and school support workers, work together with those schools to help kids have a better opportunity. And even on their same accountability system,
She can be heard. They can see
so
it.
where did can you put it over here when the court said stop, this doesn't make any sense.
Worked pretty good, I
So the question I have is, why is there a power play? Because that's what this is. It stinks. There's a power play here. There's a land grab here. This is not about the kids. This is not about the schools. This is not about academics. This is about power. Divesting power from Houston kids, from Houston parents, from Houston educators, from Houston elected officials, to give it to a state that has not ever, this administration, shown
any compassion, focus, or support for the Houston schools. So yeah, are we mad? This is so un-American. In
Yes, it is.
America, when we work hard and play by the rules and succeed, that should be lifted up, should be taken away. Barack and Abbott are in a power play to take schools' futures away from people who have worked hard and lifted up academic achievement.
All right.
And that's why we're all here, and we're all not just fighting that, but we will walk this walk for our kids, for our members, for our community, because Houston deserves to have local control of its schools and schools funded in the way they should be, not a state takeover and a power play.
Thank you, President Weingarten. We know that some of the media are starting to do live shots. If you need to, you can do it outside. We have a conference room back here. Someone can go in there. Well, otherwise, we can break things up. So if you need to do interviews with any of the speakers here, we'll be available to. Want to say anything else? Thank you very much.
Somebody's phone. Oh. There's my man. How are you, sir?
Awesome. I'm learning every time.